I have 3 grandsons.
Yes.
2 and 1 great-grandchild.
I have 3 children, and I have 7 grandchildren, and I have about 7 great-grandchildren.
Wonderful.
I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl,
Yeah.
and grandchildren. I have 2 girls born here,
Yep.
and a boy and a girl born in North Vietnam. Oh yes,
Yes.
But it sort of was back into her family
Okay.
because her uncle was a Baptist minister.
Oh,
Her
boys.
brother was a Baptist minister. I don't remember Mum with a particular song, but I remember my grandmother,
Yes.
and that was in the Sweet By and By.
Ah. Mm.
She had a beautiful voice. She was in a wheelchair,
Yes.
and no matter whether I had friends in the living room with me or not, she had her devotions before she went to bed.
Yeah.
And she sang her hymns, and she had her prayers. And
Oh, very much so. My mother went to church, you know, like Bible study, never missed Bible study, and all those things that, no, she was dedicated. No, I'm sure my mother prayed for a lot of things we did as adults that she didn't like,
Yeah, I
you
bet.
know, the way we did things.
you asked about my mom's faith.
Yes.
My mom I just accepted her faith.
Yeah.
My dad had the church service, but I, just accepted Mom's faith because my dad, when he first came home, had a very bad heart attack. And at that time, the snowmobile was the most awful looking thing. It was like a camper, great big, and a great big fan on the back of it, like a airplane.
Yeah.
And that's how the doctor came to look after them. They were with them every day for about 7 days.
Yes.
And Mom never slept. She just laid on the edge of his bed. The doctors always said that she was the one that
Wow.
brought him through it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so she lived her faith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And the impact that would have had on you
That's
too.
cool.
Yeah.
To see that.
Yes, for me, I was 6 years old.
And my grandmother lived with us for a period of time, and she was a good person. Their way of believing a long time ago was different. Well, of course, my mother was a stay-at-home mother, and I always knew that when I came home from school, she was going to be there. She was always firm but loving, and that I mean, I was brought up all through the years to go to Sunday school, and I didn't know anything different.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything different other than to believe, and I knew always that Jesus loved me, but I didn't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
And until much later, and I was baptized when I was about 14, but I still hadn't really, truly understood. And it was when May, do you remember May Todd? Well, she was a wonderful lady. She was, like an interim pastor. But she talked about the Holy Spirit one night. And that came clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was fantastic, really.
I think they have to have the faith in it to teach their children and have some place. I find they need some place to go to, and if you don't have God there, you don't have someone to go along with you.
Yeah.
And there has to be somebody there. You can't make all of the decisions yourself. One thing I tried to teach them, and I still try to teach them, that they have to be kind to people if they want people to be kind to them. I found that is so important. If sometimes you meet people in life, and I know in our church they can be a little different, but if you show the extra kindness to them, it's changed completely.
Well, I think as they're growing up, just to be fair and just and merciful, I guess. But as far as bringing up my own children is concerned, I depended a lot on the Lord, or I would never have been able to do what I did. Because I was, very young when I got a divorce, and Faith, my youngest, was 9 months old.
I tell them to make sure that that she and her husband are on the same page. And with the kids, I think that they should be given more freedoms as their age grows. And grandkids, you should love them and let the parents do the correcting.
Yes, in small things.
Yes.
Things I'll be thinking about, really thinking, and haven't really put down anything on it, and all of a sudden it happens. It's just as if I had spoken to him immediately, and it happens.
Yeah.
We always call it a God thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just so many.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess particularly with Faith, with freelancing, of course, you can't really have any idea how things are going to go from one time to the next, and I was helping her financially to stay where she was. And it had been quite a little while, and she was getting really discouraged. And one night I went to bed, and I can't do this anymore, just take over Lord. And she had her resume online, and somebody called and said they had seen her resume online, and it was they said, "You have all of the things that I need for life." And when she called me, I thought, well, that's strange. Maybe, you can't believe everything you get from online.
Exactly.
So, and he said, then he had called her back the next morning and said, "When would you be available?" And of course, needless to say, she was available anytime.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I would like for you to come in." So she went in, and at the very beginning, they'd hardly interviewed her when they started showing all around the office and where she would be sitting if she took the job.
Hmm.
And that's where she's working today.
Wow.
Good night kisses.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even unexpected ones, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what did your friends think of that when they saw her doing that?
Well, she had our dining room for herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were in the front room,
Mm-hmm.
and she serenaded them.
Yes.
Have you ever read that book to your kids? I Love You Forever. I Love You
Oh,
Always?
yes.
So the question, do you actually sneak into Basin's house at night
Oh,
and rock him a little bit?
Yeah.
Jim and Karen were arguing at church the other day about which one was your favorite. Are you able to tell us who your favorite child is? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I don't,
The only one that accepted Christ with me
Mm-hmm.
was the youngest one.
Yeah.
The others were at the church.
Okay.
Yeah. But it sort of surprised me when he asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That shows what they think of my mind. They're keeping it very short. Don't think I can know anymore. You
No,
know
your
that's
answers
true?
have been awesome.
Huh? Yeah, they don't think our mind's very capable of going on.
It's more our minds can't keep going.